we want to bring in Jennifer Coffindoffer now. She's a former FBI agent who we have been turning to for insight into this investigation into Gabby's death and also the search for Brian Laundrie. Jennifer, I would like to start with the search at the reserve. I'm not going to ask you a question about alligators, though. You just heard from the cowboy, though, who doesn't think that Brian Laundrie is there, dead or alive. Why are they spending so much time focused on that reserve right now?
Well, first of all, that's the only precise lead they have as to where he is at. And even though the source of that is Brian Laundrie's parents, they have to give it the credence that it deserves, and that is they must follow up on it. And I am convinced that there is corroborating evidence as well, or else they would not continue to be out there.
You know, it's tough to roll this forward because it is based at this point on a lot of speculation, but it's been days without nothing based on what investigators are sharing with us. Do you think that there's a chance Brian Laundrie will never be found? How long do they give this search?
I think Brian Laundrie will be found. There's just too many people searching for him, and the whole public is searching for him, and this media coverage is instigating people who never even heard of him before. People are looking for him. I think he'll be found.
Let's talk about his parents. If you're the investigator leading this case right now, how heavily are you leaning on Brian's parents for information, insight, guidance?
I'm not leaning on his parents at all. However, I am leaning on what happened prior to the 14th. That is the 11th, 12th, and 13th, when they went on that voyage with Brian. I would be looking at cell phone records. I would be looking at credit card records. I would be tracking where that family went during that time so they can retrace that and see if they can narrow in on where he might be.
What do you make of their statement today through their attorney? And they said, we don't know where Brian is. Speculation that we assisted him in leaving and avoiding arrest is just wrong.
Predictable. That's what he is going to say, and that is not going to change. He is not going to cause that family to be looked at with any more scrutiny than they are.
The attorney, Brian, both. Sorry,
both.
You might be having a hard time hearing me. Let's talk about the items, Jennifer, that were taken from the Laundrie home today. Brian Enton got into this a little bit. They're gathering DNA. What types of clues do you think they'll be looking for in collecting that type of evidence right now?
Well, the great thing about DNA, and there could be his hair, his toothbrush, razor that they could grab great DNA from, is it's unequivocal evidence. It's not dependent on a witness statement or what somebody saw. This is actual scientific evidence, and it's going to be used against what they saw during the autopsy in terms of if there's strangulation marks. We don't know that that's the cause, or a rock that was used, blood. There could be all sorts of DNA evidence that exists that they're going to find on that autopsy. Mm-hmm. The second thing is, remember, there's the site where her body was discovered, as well as possibly the site where she was murdered. They're not necessarily the same sites. Investigators are poring over those sites for any clues that they could find, and some of those clues could involve DNA evidence.
Mm-hmm. How long does it take to process that type of information? Days, weeks?
Well, in a case like this is going to receive top priority and can be done very quickly.
Mm-hmm. So you anticipate potentially this week we could have more information on the DNA, and also we're still awaiting a cause of death for Gabby.
I think one thing that we're going to be awaiting, and what they're really looking at, is they want the evidence to be able to charge somebody involved or to exonerate. So that's why this DNA evidence is going to take that needle and more precisely point it in one way or the other.
Hopefully answer some major questions that we all still have tonight. Jennifer Coffindoffer, as always, appreciate your insight. Thank you very much.